Welcome everybody out to podcast number 335. Today we're going to answer a question. Stay with us.
This is the Elevate Construction Podcast, delivering remarkable content for workers, leaders, and companies in construction wanting to take their next step. Get ready to step out of your comfort zone with Jason Schroeder as he encourages you to do better, live a remarkable life, and expect more. Let's go.
Welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having a great Thursday. I apologize yesterday for not getting that podcast out. I'm not a victim, but I recorded that podcast episode with Hal Maycomer and Felipe Engineer yesterday and never got to a spot with internet where I could upload it. So I uploaded it this morning. You'll have access to that. And then also this one as well. I hope you enjoy it. I am going to skip right into the topic at hand, which is to answer a question which we got, and I'm going to answer it one by one. So I'm going to read it all the way through and then address these one by one. Now, I'm asking you to be a little bit patient with me because I'm just being passionate. I'm being myself, right? So whoever asked this, whoever this pertains to, I'm not being passionate or negative or critical or anything like that. I'm just attempting to show forth some of the passion that I have naturally as a human being so I connect more. So here we go. On we go. Jason, hope all is well with you and your business, and I hope your business is thriving. So I appreciate that. We had a great management meeting this week, and the topic came up regarding how our field superintendents spend their time. We were wondering if you could do a podcast on effective time management of field superintendents related to how they choose to spend their 9 to 10 hours per day, or point us in the right direction to one that you have already done. One of the topics was not doing the trade partners work for them. How many times does the potentially inexperienced field foreman come to the trailer with questions that could be answered if they just spent more time reviewing plans and specifications? How do successful field superintendents effectively deal with this type of situation? That happens daily, sometimes hourly. How intentional are they at not taking on the burden of others? How do we keep our lead superintendents out of equipment when a delivery of paint shows up and the painting foreman or a qualified operator isn't on site? Hey, can you just get me unloaded this one time? All too often, the superintendent will run down to the building to pump water because of a heavy rain event or put up temp enclosures, safety railings, etc. I always tell them their time is better spent on the job site answering questions, inspecting for safety and quality, or in their field office planning and communicating, not manning a trash pump. Thoughts? Thank you in advance for your time. So I really enjoy this topic. I really enjoy this question. So I think to first address this, I don't want to sound unhumble or not humble with this, but I'm a genius at this. And I think it's because I'm partially averse to doing unnecessary work. Some people would say, hey, I'm really lazy, so I attempt to delegate everything. I don't know that I'm lazy, but I read, and so one of my main focuses in life is leadership. In fact, I've been told by great mentors, hey, focus more, Jason, on connection and vulnerability than leadership because you read too many leadership books. And I think that's a fair point. I love leadership books. I love leadership concepts. I love teaming concepts. I love, war strategy. I love watching generals of old. So like leadership is just my gig. So when I'm researching leadership and I get to a point where I have to make a decision of, do I stay doing what I've been doing or do I step into the role of a leader? I personally will always step into the role of a leader. I will always transfer myself, my actions, my focus from doing to leading. And so I partially don't understand the drive for people wanting to go jump in the trenches all the time, other than to say, I do know for a fact a couple of things. And I'll go ahead and give that to us. And I'm not blaming somebody if they're this way. I'm just saying that this is true and we need to see and reflect if we're in these situations, right? So first of all, somebody one time made a post that superintendents can get addicted to the adrenaline of being in the chaos. And somebody was like, I did a Facebook reply comment, really? I mean, come on, that's so childish. But no, that's true. So we can get addicted to those chemicals. We can get addicted to that adrenaline. We can get addicted to that rush. I mean, I just like in the Elevating Construction Takt planning book, I wrote in there the fable when they were doing the whitewater rafting and made the example, the comparison of when the river's like really chaotic and crazy, it's a whole lot more fun and addictive than if the river was calm and peaceful and quiet, right? So there's a total possibility and so much truth around the concept that we get addicted to those things. I go home, my wife's not paying attention to me. Well, I get significance and certainty at work. I am not significant at church, so I'll get it at work. I don't get a lot of credit for the things that I know because I don't read a lot, so I'll get credit for the things that I do and work hard. I mean, this is a really serious thing, and it's real. And so superintendents and every human being on earth has 6 basic human needs, right? And we've talked about those before: certainty, significance, variety, love and connection, and then growth and contribution. This is the center of the problem, is that when people's focus, and everybody has these human needs, but when somebody focuses too much on certainty, when somebody focuses too much on significance, then they will do things like go to Home Depot and go spend more time on the equipment and go be on the forklift all day and go unload work and then go down and pump out water and do things like that instead of properly delegating and planning and executing the work, right? So these are people, wonderful people, I might add, that have come from worker and foreman level positions where they're doing a lot of work. And they know how to unload that load. They know how to operate the equipment. They know how to operate the forklift. They know how to go pump out that water. They know how to run to Home Depot. But they don't know how to plan and schedule. They don't know how to do lean. They don't know how to manage a project. They don't know how to create stability. They don't know how to lead meetings. They don't know how to lead huddles. They don't know all of these different things. And so, where do they go? Where will they get more certainty? They'll get more certainty doing the things that they know. Where will they get more self-significance? They will get more self-significance doing the things that they know, right? It's only until we switch our lives and our mindsets to growth and contribution, to a giving mindset, to a growth mindset, that changes. Meaning that if we get foremen and superintendents into a learning pattern, reading books, listening to podcasts, doing trainings, and we can get them to give to each other, and we can have them understand that for the greater good, they have to be in a certain position to be a leader, then that can all start to change. But there has to be that moment. And so just quite transparently, I don't know exactly when that moment happens. We do that at boot camps. We attempt to force that click in boot camps, especially in the field engineer fundamental builder boot camp. And so if anybody's ever interested in that, you got to let me know so I can schedule a course in September or October. Actually, that would be in October, and get your fundamental builders in there. That will make the switch, and I can get you testimonials if you want. But outside of a major event like a fundamental builder boot camp, or a field engineer boot camp, or a survey boot camp, I don't know when that click naturally takes place. Because, let's take a book, for example, Patrick Lencioni's book, The Motive. In order to be a leader, and that means foreman, and that means lead person, and that means superintendent, we have to build the team first, have hard conversations, manage and coach and mentor our direct reports, hold remarkable meetings, and we have to scale communication fanatically. Right? If we don't do those 5 things, we're not a leader. We might have a leader title, but we're not leading, right? And so if somebody reads that book and doesn't then get it and says, okay, good, nice stuff, and then I don't know anything outside of a boot camp, these immersive courses, that will make that switch. But they have to make that switch. We have to go from doing to leading. I mean, that's the secret. And I love these people. I don't even think it's their fault. Meaning the construction industry has said, hey, worker, go be a foreman, or a lead person. Hey, lead person, go be a foreman. Hey, foreman, go be a superintendent, without any training. And it's ridiculous. right? Felipe Engineer and I were talking about large companies that when they were $1.5 billion a year in total annual revenue, they were training like crazy. And as the company increases in size, the amount of training that they do has decreased incrementally over the years. And it's like, this makes no sense. We need more. We need, like Adam Hoots always says, we need to create more capability, more capacity in order to expand. In fact, I was working with the leadership team just the other day on their next big thing. And in order for them to expand, they have to create that capability. They have to create that capacity. So I would say one of the biggest things is that the human needs for a foreman or a superintendent are in the wrong place. And that's the other thing is it's like, for some thinking people, and they're like, you can't have a boot camp with a little bit of professional development in it. I say you can't not have a little bit of professional development in it, because you have to get people's minds wrapped around the focus on growth and contribution if they're ever going to then focus on their proper role. And that's why first day of Fundamental Builder Boot Camp, we're going through these concepts, professional development, getting outside their comfort zone, going through the Dickens process, and being very specific and intentional on how we do these things. So let's get into the rest of the podcast. So this concept is crucial. In fact, I'm finding that most of the time, companies, when I come help them, they don't have foremen and superintendents. They have untrained workers who are great, wonderful, beautiful people in the positions where they're not being successful. And to ask them to go do things they're uncomfortable with is most of the time just, I'm not even going to say it's right or wrong. I'm just going to say it's not very effective. It's not very effective. And so we have to get our minds wrapped around this. What do? We continue recruiting, we continue hiring, and we continue training at an accelerated rate. I mean, people that don't want to train, those are your people that aren't bought into your culture. The people that do train will progress. And the percentages of the people who will progress are pretty high. The other thing is, there are just as many hardworking people coming out of colleges and out of high school nowadays. They just don't want to work for people like you, meaning that they don't care as much about loyalty as you do. They don't care much about the standard salary as you do. They care about the Google type environments. They care about they're more transient in their housing, meaning they probably won't buy a home. They don't care as much about loyalty. They want to know that they're going to be taken care of and trained. They will work hard if the company has a cause and it's not just for money. They're just different people. They're just as hardworking. They just want different things. So I'm kind of at a point now, and I'll say this over and over and over. I hear everywhere that we have a people problem. Everyone blames people, the workers, the crew did this, they did that, the foreman, we don't have that, they're not trained, blah, blah, blah. No. We have a process problem. And what is the process that's broken? Our process and behavior and culture that's broken is our companies do not have the right culture and the right behaviors in the fact that they do training, meaning they don't do training in order to take care of the people to do excellent and wonderful work. That is the process that is broken. And the United States has now firmly entered at least partially, but has firmly entered an economy of scarcity. And so there are unknowing contractors and superintendents out there that will use and abuse trade partners. They will ask for more manpower and materials on their project site. They will slow everything down because they're not obeying the production laws. Won't do any training, so it takes longer to do the project and actually requires more manpower for them to perceptibly even make any progress. These are the folks that are hurting the industry right now. If I had to guess, I would honestly guess that 40 to 60% of our current workforce are being used for wasted activities. This is just from observation, meaning when I go to projects, I'll give you an example. You can take $100 million project, same size project, and on one project, you've got 35 electricians, and the other project, you've got 85 electricians. What's the difference? One is on a Takt system with flow, the other one isn't. Well, what happened? Well, I don't math, 35, 3. So what so I think it's 50, 60, 70, 80. So what about the other 50 electricians? All waste. You don't need the other 50 electricians. The 50 electricians are coming from a push scenario. So we've got two problems. We have bad cultures and bad behaviors with companies. And the company that asked me this question does not have this problem, just for the record. But we have I'm just going off on a rant on a separate topic here. So we have bad behaviors and we have bad cultures complaining about people when it's not the problem. The problem is we're not using our resources wisely. I don't think we're going to be able to disrespect workers going forward. I'm kind of glad that Elevate Construction, that I started this business when I did, because I don't think we're going to be able to even do it anymore. Meaning, if somebody said, hey, come into the construction industry where we have porta potties without hand wash stations and toilet paper, and where we treat you like crap and work you overtime with no lunch areas, very little resources and water, and blame everything on you. Come to work in construction, woohoo! And do you think recruiting lines are going to be like, oh, let me go do that? No, it's going to be the people that feel stuck, who are still great, wonderful people, but then they're going to get jaded because of the nasty environments. We have got to fix this. And so I'm saying firmly and resolutely, we do not have a worker and a foreman problem. We have a construction culture problem. We have a process problem, and it's because we're not providing the right training, the right support, the right environments, the right cultures, and we're not taking care of workers. And so 100%, that's it. So if we want to start to fix this, we will get people into the right mindset by providing the training. Oh, by the way, Elevate Construction provides that training, and we will 100% stop blaming people and fix the things that need to be fixed. And I have to say, you will switch to Takt planning. I'm just amazed right now at why we do not create standard and stable systems. So if trade flow and the conditions and the flow of the workers is one of the most single important considerations in construction, because that is the flow unit. And it is, like Nicholas Modig talks about, why are we using scheduling systems like CPM where you cannot see trade flow? Can't really even see workflow. But we have to switch to the right production systems. And a lot of times, a lot of this just comes down to the production laws. I was at a job the other day, and I won't even tell you where I was, no big deal, none of anybody's business, but they're struggling with the concrete schedule and finances. And we looked at it, and it all comes down to batch size. If we could get the batch sizes, the placement breaks to where there are smaller portions, and that was simulated out in Takt, where the crane utilization was shown on the Takt plan, where crews were smaller and working evenly, they'd be able to recover that structure. We have to get into the right environments in construction. Okay, so now back to the answering the questions here. For this company who's wonderful, who doesn't fit into that category, because I know they do training. So they say, we were wondering if you could do a podcast on effective time management of field superintendents related to how they choose to spend their 9 to 10 hours per day. All right, so let me be clear about this. Superintendents, I've been there. I know your job. I was in the field for 23 years before I started my business. I know how to do that job. In fact, sometimes, and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but I'm running multi-$100 million projects and on $1 billion+ projects throughout my career. And I've got assistant superintendents who've been in that position for 40 years, running $2 million projects, arguing with me, Jason, you just don't understand. Oh, really? Yeah, I don't understand. Okay. I've been in the field working as a laborer and a finisher and a carpenter. I've operated equipment. I know AutoCAD and Revit. I know all of the BIM world. I used to be CM BIM certified. I am CM Lean. I used to be CM Lean certified. I used to have a Design Build Institute of America certification. I'm trained on survey and layout. I've taught at Purdue and ASU. I've been an assistant superintendent, a field engineer, assistant superintendent, project superintendent, senior superintendent, general superintendent, field operations director, and a project director, and studied Lean. I know Takt planning. I know CPM. I know the last planner system. I know Scrum. I know, I just keep going on. And this sounds arrogant. I'm just trying to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about. Like if I say something about BIM, I have run a BIM project with design in a design build contract. Like I have done those things. Like I've led a BIM team. I have led crews. I have led self-perform. I've been a field engineer. I've done the layout. I've done the lift drawings. I've done the production analysis. I've gone through all of these trainings. Like I've been there. That sounds super arrogant, but I just need to prove like I've been here. You superintendents and foremen do not belong under any circumstances going to Home Depot or getting materials unless for some ungodly reason there's no one else on the project site. You're the last person standing on the planet of the apes and you have to pump something out. Like, and even then the answer is probably no. You do not belong working. Foremen and supers. And if any company that says, hey, I want working foremen, you're making a mistake. You've got to get their heads above their backsides. You have to have people leading. Their job is to not do those things. In fact, sometimes I think it would be good to just tie the superintendent, as long if they could work, if I could get OSHA to allow me to tie their hands behind their backs as they're walking throughout the job, I would do it. Because we have to get them to stop working. They're not doing anybody any good when they're doing that. It goes back to that story of the foreman, the rodbuster foreman, where one foreman was working always behind. The other one was just supplying information materials to his guys. They were always ahead of schedule. That pattern will repeat itself throughout eternity. You foremen have to stop working. You have to stop doing the doing. You have to start delegating and leading. We need somebody up at the helm at the ship. We need somebody up steering us away from icebergs. We do not need you down at the bottom shoveling coal or sweeping the deck. You have to be in your position. You are paid to lead and to think and to plan and to prepare. You are not paid. You are not paid to work. You want to go work? Go be a worker. And they're great people. I respect workers. They make us money. But your job is in a support role, not above workers, but in a support role. You can invert that triangle, that hierarchical structure you're thinking about in your mind. Workers are at the top of importance, putting in the work. Foreman, you are a layer below, supporting them. Superintendents, you are a layer below, supporting them. Every other position is a layer below, layer below, layer below. And if you get out of your support role, then you're letting them fall. And so that's how you have to look at it. I think most of the time, foremen and supers, they're like, oh, I've taken a step up on the hierarchical chain, and to prove that I'm humble, I'm going to take a step down and condescend to do the work of other people. No. You've got your triangle inverted. You flip that thing over. The workers are the people on the top of the food chain. They make us money. They're the heroes. They're who we respect. You're a layer below. You want to be humble? You stay at the layer below. You stay where you're supposed to be in a support role, and don't you dare go to Home Depot. Don't you dare run away and get in a piece of a forklift. Don't you dare go do those things. I'm telling you definitively, unless it was just a one-time occurrence, getting in a forklift is escapism. Getting in a piece of equipment is escapism. Pumping out of water is escapism. Going to Home Depot is escapism. It's basically a way for you to run away from doing your job. That's what it is. And you have to stop doing that. In fact, the other day it was yesterday, I saw a post, a president of a company was like, hey, for my birthday, a president of a company said, hey, for my birthday, I decided to go out and run equipment all day as a present to me. I think that's fine. Hey, tell everybody you're taking the day off. Go jump in the equipment. I love it. But at least he knew the differentiation from being a leader to just like escaping. And so for his birthday, he was escaping. Hey, I totally grant him that. Like, you own the company, you want to go get in a track hoe all day, you go do that. But under no circumstances should we as leaders do that. So, superintendents and foremen, you do not go pump trenches. You do not go to Home Depot. You do not get over there and unload and load the deliveries. You make people do that themselves, right? You do not get out there and work. The only thing that I will allow you to do And you're probably like, who are you, Jason? I'm just telling you, like, the only thing that I allow you to do, like, is every now and then, is to pick up trash as you go and to set the example of how important cleanliness. In fact, that shows you how important cleanliness is. The only thing that you should be able to do a little bit for a couple minutes every day is to either support, direct, or actually pick up trash. That's how important cleanliness is. Everything else is totally off limits. Do not get in that truck and go somewhere else. You need to be on that site leading with a safety presence in the field and being that confident captain and that commander. So, how should you choose to spend your time? Well, I wrote a book about it, so I'm glad you asked. You should spend your time in the 3 builder habits: studying your drawings, even if you don't like to, being in your schedule, even if you don't like to, and doing a reflection walk and leading people, even if you don't like to. And then the only other things interspersed throughout your day should be meetings, fanatical communication, directing, coaching, mentoring other people, having hard conversations and solving the problems, and building your team. That's what we get to do. The higher you get, if you're looking at it hierarchically, which I don't, the farther along you get into leadership positions, that doesn't say that you've arrived. That doesn't say that like you're somehow like special. That doesn't say that, oh, now your life gets easier. That says that now you get to do the gut-wrenchingly disgusting hard things. That's what that means. And so if you're a foreman or a worker, a laborer, a finisher, or anyone in those positions, and you see the superintendent and you're like, oh, all they do is walk around all day, they're lazy. You don't understand. If they started to work like you did, they would no longer be what they're paid to do. They are paid to watch. They are paid to see. They are paid to think. They are paid to plan. They are paid to execute. Now, let me give you a disclaimer. I can't tell you how many times that I've talked to superintendents about proper scheduling, about how to run huddles, about how they should respect workers, about how to create stability on site, and then they go use the last planner system as a club or a stick or a beating stick to go beat up people and trade partners and workers. I can't stand that. I teach them Takt or something, and these aren't people that have been through boot camps. I'm just talking about like instructionally wise. Like the other day, we were like, here's how you use Takt systems and create supportive systems for your trades. They go into a huddle, they start beating up people, and they start using percent plan complete and variances to beat trade partners and workers over the head. And it's like, you all have to stop. Like if you have a terminally ill a-hole superintendent, then you're probably going to have to fix that problem first. You have to have people that care about workers. And if you do, you should spend your time communicating, leading, being in the plans, being in your schedule, doing reflection walks, and coaching and mentoring and scaling communication all day. I hope this isn't too much of a rant. So this concept is crucial. That's what you do. You plan and execute work. The ideal circumstance is that, and I'm just going to tell you, and I wrote this at the end of the Takt book just last night. The ideal circumstance is that you have workers, every worker on site, that they have an hour-by-hour schedule of where they should be that day with a visual feature of workboard for how to install it in a quality manner that is a part of their quality and safety pre-task plan, who have been to a morning huddle with connection and communication in a clean, safe environment where they have the information and materials, the right layout, a positive and clean and safe and organized and scheduled environment where they can be happy and fulfilled at work. That is your job as a superintendent. And if workers don't have that, then you are not doing your job. So what would I recommend somebody do? If a superintendent, I'm just going to be bold here. If a builder doesn't study the drawings every day, and if you miss a day or two, I'm not getting after you. I'm saying for the most part, study drawings every day. Is in the schedule, planning and executing work every day. Leading huddles and communicating and taking reflection walks every day. If they're not doing that every day, they're not a builder. They're a broker. Anybody can be a broker. You could take an Amazon delivery driver and put them in the superintendent foreman broker role and have them be just as successful as you are. Think about that. If all you are doing is pointing and saying, go here, go there, go here, go there, and just pointing to for workers to go fight fires, and always do it behind the 8 ball, and you're always running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Could you not go just grab a security guard from Walmart and do this, have him do the same thing? You could. Like, you are not a foreman or a superintendent if you do that. Like, and you have to understand scheduling and production laws. And here's the thing, and let me go on a little rant. Like, I'm on one now. Like, you pissed me off here now. So like, people are like, oh, I didn't get the training, somebody didn't do this. Okay. Like, okay, it is a person. I'm talking to you I'm in a coaching modality right now. Companies should not blame people. Companies should blame the process and the culture. They need to provide the training. But now I'm talking to you, meaning I was coaching them. Now I'm coaching you. If you're a worker listening to this, when I got started, I didn't have a college education. I tested out of high school early. Like, some people are ashamed of stuff like that. I went out there and started working. And guess what? They're like, we don't have a computer for you, Jason. Boom, credit card. I got my own computer, $3,500 Dell computer back in the day. Boom, downloaded an illegal version of AutoCAD. Boom, got Excel. Started doing those things. What are they doing? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to be better at what they did. Okay? Don't have an opportunity? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to grab the total station. When I was a finisher, I want to learn how to run the chute on the backside of the concrete truck. The guy's like, I'm not doing it. I bring in donuts the next day. Hey, if I give you these donuts, will you let me do it? I'll think about it. I bring in donuts again. Start bringing in donuts. He's like, okay, every day you bring in donuts, I'll let you run the chute. I learned how to run the chute, bro. And then that's how I weaseled my way into learning how to run a backhoe. And that's how I weaseled my way into running a Gannon, and then a loader, and then setting form work, and then grabbing the total station, and then weaseled my way into becoming a field engineer. Then I bought my own computer. And then I grabbed the field engineering methods manual, read it myself. I don't need a freaking college program to do that. I don't need somebody to give that stuff to me to do that. And then I started reading book after book, grabbing it, taking it. I'm going to go pay for that certification, grabbing, taking, owning. Look, people, like, you have got to stop whining. You have to go out there and get it done. You have to figure this out. You have to go get that training. If you are stagnant, may God have mercy on your soul. If you're not reading, learning, advancing, figuring things out, being resourceful, may God have mercy on your soul. Because here's a surprise for you. Eternity is for those who are progressing. You've got to stop being lazy. If you're coming to work looking like a mess with holes in your jeans, looking like all kinds of mess, talking all stupid, and not learning and improving and asking and looking for opportunities, then you don't belong in that situation. And I personally don't want you in the field engineer, foreman, superintendent roles, because those are high class, high speed, professional roles. And if you're some kind of security guard street bum, nothing against security guards, that's just out there acting like a superintendent, I don't want you there, because all you know how to do is what my 5-year-old knows how to do. Oh, you need something there, point, go there, point, go there, point, go there. All you're doing when you point, go there is you're slowing production. As soon as you tell a crew to change the task, you're losing up to a half a day of production. Okay. And you're having them run around like a chicken with their head cut off in unsafe environments with a ton of context switching, burdening them and their environment without the right preparations, and putting them in unsuccessful situations, which is called in military speak, hobbling the workforce. I have zero respect for you. And now let me flip this. If you are that person and have a desire to learn, I have all the respect in the world for you. Let me clarify. If you are that person that is just stupidly moving forward and doing stupid things, and I'm going to call them stupid because it's stupid to put somebody in unsafe situations, and you don't have any desire to get better, I have no respect for you. If you are a worker or a foreman or a superintendent and you are doing stupid things like I've done stupid things, and you have a desire to learn and grow, I have all the respect in the world for you. And that is why I do this podcast for you for free. So don't get mad at me. If you're mad at me right now, if you are listening to this podcast and you are mad at me right now, you are the problem. If you are listening to me, then you have a problem. And I, because I'm your coach, will blame you. Like, you can't, Jocko Willink said, you can't blame anybody else. You can't, you owe you an explanation, like Eric Thomas says. If you're not getting that training, you owe you an explanation. If you're not out there getting that promotion, you need to put yourself on punishment. If you're not doing what you need to do, how is somebody else going to do what you expect them to do if you're not doing what you need to do for you, like Eric Thomas always says? I'm coaching you now. When I coach companies, I'm like, fix the process, fix the culture. And when I'm coaching you, I'm saying, stop being a victim. You need to go out there and get this. If you hear from me on podcast, oh, Jason said it's the company's fault. Whoa. First of all, you're not listening and you need to improve your listening skills. I'm telling them to train. I'm telling them to train and to fix their culture. And I'm telling you to stop being a victim and go get it. Because once that company that listens to me fixes their culture and you haven't decided to stop being a victim, that new culture will spit you out. Meaning if you're like, oh, Jason said it was all the company's fault. Well, hey, you can keep believing that. And if you keep being a victim, that culture will spit you out. That culture will improve and you will no longer find yourself welcome in that culture. And if that's what you want, then you keep being a victim. But I strongly recommend that you stop being a victim. And I do not want any security guard superintendents out there anymore. I want you to learn. I need you to elevate. A superintendent is a military commander. A superintendent is a military general. And I don't want security guards. I want generals. I don't want security guards. I don't want generals. I don't want Starbucks employees. I want generals. I don't want freaking Home Depot workers in general positions. I want to take the Home Depot workers and turn them into generals. I don't want you stagnating. If you're stagnating, get the cuss word out of that position and stop giving us superintendents, field engineers, and foremen a bad name. Okay, there we go. So that's what I want you doing. I want you to stop doing the stupid things. If you don't know planning and scheduling, you need to get there. If you don't know building information modeling, you need to get there. If you don't know survey, you need to get there. If you don't know lift drawings, you need to get there. If you don't know Google SketchUp, you need to get there. If you don't know basic fundamental superintendent duties, you need to get there. If you don't keep a to-do list, you need to get there. You don't know how to fill out daily reports, you need to get there. Oh, here's my favorite one. I don't use computers. I don't give a flying cuss word if you don't know how to use computers. Get behind the cuss word computer and figure out how to use the cuss word computer. I wish I could freaking just go on a cussing rant right now. What are you talking about? You don't know how to use computers. You can figure out how to use a computer in a day. Stop whining and being a victim. You don't know how to use a computer because you decided not to be able to use a computer. You need to get up and figure this out. Okay? I didn't know how to use a computer until I figured it out. I'm going to figure it out. That's because I'm a human being and I am not going to stagnate. Now, here's the biggest thing. The other problem that we have, in addition to people having their focuses wrong, and in addition to people not being in the growth and contribution state, is that people have fixed and growth mindsets. I've talked about fixed mindsets over and over. Fixed mindsets are like, what I know should create my status, and therefore I am averse to feedback and correction and learning. I just want to be a tenured professor here. Okay, the growth mindset is I'll take correction. Growing is really where I get my significance. I'm always going to learn. I'm always going to get better. If you have an employee with a fixed mindset, may God have mercy on your soul, because you are going to have a cuss word of a time getting those people anywhere until they snap out of their mindset, which again, I've only seen boot camps and high performance training, things like Tony Robbins, get people out of that, or church experiences, right? But again, newsflash, everybody, heaven, you're not stagnating there. You can live heaven on earth by improving, by reading, by learning. If you want to live hell on earth, you just stay right where you are. And if you want to live in hell, like metaphorically in the eternity, you just stay right where you are. Because the secret is eternal progression is the key to happiness. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is disease. Ignorance is divorce. Ignorance is abuse. Ignorance is disgusting. Ignorance is bad conditions. Ignorance is unsafety. Ignorance is injury. Ignorance is all the bad things. Whatever dumb cuss word person said that ignorance is bliss is one of the dumbest persons that I've ever heard of in my entire life. I almost wish that I knew who said that so that I could punch him in the face. Like, I'd be like, I've never done this before in my life, but you deserve a nice punch in the face. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is stupid. Ignorance leads to all the bad things. Okay, so let's go on. One of the topics was not doing the trade partner's work for them. How many times does the potentially inexperienced field foreman come to the trailer with questions that could be answered if they just spent more time reviewing the plans and specs? Okay, the person that sent me this is wonderful. I'm not bad-mouthing this person. In fact, none of my rants are focused towards this company. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But when they listen, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the industry. I'm talking about generally the practices that we have. If a superintendent would get in their role and lead people and communicate and train and mentor and coach and hold people accountable, then this would solve itself. Okay, so superintendents do the work of other people because they're playing savior with people. Period. End of story. They get significance. They're like, I don't really know how to be a superintendent. So if I go chase down this one answer for you, you will give me praise and you will give me significance and the certainty of me keeping my job if I go do this. So check this out. If a superintendent doesn't know or a foreman doesn't know how to do their job, but they do know how to read plans, then they will read plans and play savior with people and do the work of trade partners because it gives them one, significance, because the trade partner is like, oh, thank you so much. And two, certainty. Oh my gosh, I need to be here to answer everybody's questions. I'm so like, this is job security. Mentally, that's what's happening. As soon as I go to a job and I'm like wanting to sit down with a team or something, or they wanted to sit down with me and they called me there and the super's like, oh, another phone call. Oh, another phone call. Oh, I got to go answer this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I automatically know they don't have any idea what they're doing. I automatically know you're not a superintendent. You don't have any idea what you're doing. There's no reason that kind of instability should be on your project site. Now, if somebody has an accident, you're going to get up and go help, or if there's a safety emergency. But I've literally had superintendents get up and walk out like 8 times in the course of an hour playing savior with people. And why? Because they selfishly want the significance and the certainty from playing savior with people. The solution, the antidote, is to actually learn how to be a foreman or a superintendent. That is the antidote. Because once they learn that, they would tell their trade partner, hey, have you researched the drawings? Hey, have you asked your office? Okay, if not, hey, I have time at 3 o'clock to do that, but right now I'm focused on leader standard work. I would love to be able to help you. Just come into the office or I'll meet you out in the field, right? And you would hold them accountable. Also, second newsflash. If you don't have the trade partners grade you on your performance, and if you don't grade the performance of trade partners, then you're not doing a good job. Like, I've been soft on this. Every superintendent, they're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard to grade trade partners. You're dumb, bro. Like, don't tell me this stuff. Like, I know you don't. Liar, liar, pants on fire. That's my defense. Like, you need to figure this out. Winners win and losers lose. Winners like to win, and they need to know how to win. Do you think people would like playing basketball if they didn't have a hoop at the other end? If you're like, here's a game with just a ball, and you got a bunch of winners on the court, they're like, nah, man, I'm going somewhere else. Winners win and losers lose. And when you say, I'm not going to grade trade partners because I think that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, what you're saying is, I've got a bunch of losers on my site that I'm trying to play savior with, and I don't dare put the hoop up at the end of the court because I know they're not going to make the shots. I, Jason Schroeder, believe in people and don't blame people. I'm like, people are smart. People are incredible. People can rise to the occasion. They're not losers. They're not stupid. They're winners. Winners like to win. Winners like to know how to win. And so here's the hoop. Okay, so grade your freaking contractors on site. Get it done. Stop whining. Stop procrastinating. Start tomorrow. If you want to have people do their own work, then measure that. Grade that. Make sure that that's a clear expectation, because your winners on site will start to learn how to win, and the people that are choosing to lose, they're not losers, they're choosing to lose, will start to realize that they're not going to survive in your culture. 100%, 100%. How do you get trade partners to do their own work? You have a superintendent that knows what she or he is doing. You have them hold people accountable, and you grade people's performance, period, end of story. Somebody else has something, get on my podcast with me. That's how you do it. How do successful field superintendents effectively deal with this type of situation that happens daily, sometimes hourly? You have to set boundaries. Now, this doesn't mean that Kaitlin endorses everything that I say, but Kaitlin Frank taught me that superintendents have to have boundaries. My boundaries are, I'm not going to let you waste my time. My boundaries are, I'm not going to do your work for you. My boundaries are, you are going to perform and hear the expectations. My boundaries are, you're going to be safe. My boundaries are, you're going to be clean. My boundaries are, you're going to be organized. My boundaries are, you will have scheduled deliveries according to material inventory buffers. A superintendent has to have boundaries and be in their role and protect that leader standard work. And when somebody from the bottom of the ship tells the captain of the ship to come down and sweep the deck, the captain has to have the guts to say, nope, actually, I'm going to steer the ship away from icebergs. I'm thinking of the Titanic on this one. Okay, so the antidote is the super has to know how to be a super, has to keep people accountable, has to stop playing savior with people, and has to start grading their performance and expecting things from other people. Fundamentally, and let me go, this is a great podcast. Fundamentally, a superintendent, and you're going to be mad at me, and I love it, that doesn't expect foremen to do their own job doesn't respect people. If you think that foreman's too stupid or unable to go do his or her own job, then you don't respect people. You don't love people. And if you don't like people, you don't love people, you're not my kind of people. I respect people. And so every worker on the site can wear their safety glasses. Every foreman on site can do their reports and their daily reports and plan their work. Everybody on site can go research their own answers before they come to me and waste my time with it. They're smart human beings. Everyone can follow the rules. Everyone can fit into the system. Everyone can earn an A. That's how it is. And when you see a superintendent playing savior with people, essentially, they think that they are, or they want the certainty and significance of being the only one that can figure it out. So they're pushing other people down to lower levels of existence and disrespecting them and not believing in them and being, quite frankly, a little discriminatory against them and elevating themselves into a false sense of importance. That's what's happening. If you see somebody playing savior, if you see somebody that typically will not grade others and hold people accountable, if you see somebody who doesn't hold high expectations, they don't respect people. Now, if you're one of those that are like, oh, I respect people, I yell and cuss and blame people all the time. Hell no, that's not what I'm talking about. You as a leader need to create stability. You need to create order. You need to create connection. You need to take care of the bathrooms. You need to have a nice lunchroom. You need to have huddles. You need to listen to your trade partners. You need to make sure you have collaborative planning cycles in your weekly work plan. You need to listen to your trade partners. You need to make a win-win for them. You need to make sure they're taken care of. You need to create trade flow. You need to be that dynamic leader. You need to listen. You need to apologize. You need to forgive. You need to be that person that supports and respects people. And you cannot just go around acting like an a-hole, yelling at people and blaming people and thinking that you're being a superintendent. That's not how it works. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. So there's this dichotomy of leadership where you have to speak up, where you have to lead, you have to build a team, you have to hold people accountable, you have to coach and mentor, you have to lead meetings, and you have to communicate, but you have to do it in a non-a-hole way. We have a no a-hole rule here at Elevate Construction. You are not allowed to be an a-hole and be a leader. We have a no a-hole rule. So if you're an a-hole and you get into a trade partner meeting and you're like, it's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's your fault, and you get out in the field and it's like, all you workers, it's your fault, it's your fault, you're just going to tank this whole project. Everyone's going to know you're an a-hole and they're going to write all over the bathrooms to prove it to you. Okay, so you have to get into your role, learn your role, get into these positions, do your job, do the hard things, but you have to do them out of respect and love and care and concern for people. And if you do that, and if you say, I am here for my people, I am here, don't even say my people, I am here for our team. I am here for them. I am a support system. I am a support network. I love them. I care for them. I take care of them. I am their number one support. I am bought into them. I want them to succeed. I respect them. I honor them. I all the good things. Then you will get out of the Home Depot truck. You will get out of the loader. You will get out of the forklift, and you will get away from that pump, and you will get out there and you will start connecting and leading people in a dynamic and professional way. Let's finish this off. All too often, the superintendent will run down to the building to pump water because of a heavy rain event or put up temp enclosures, safety railings, etc. I always tell them their time is better spent on the job site answering questions, inspecting for safety and quality, or in their field office planning and communicating, not manning a trash pump. Thoughts. My thought is they don't know how to be a superintendent. They need to be trained. We love and support them. If they don't get it, we'll go through Adam Hoots' stages of development before we invite them to leave the project. But at the end of the day, if they will not stop doing these things, they need to be let go and invited to go work in some other role. If a superintendent is putting up temp enclosures and just pumping water most of the time and putting up safety railings and always doing stuff, it's escapism, and they need to be let go from your company so they can go apply for a security job position. That's all there is to it. A superintendent is a professional project management role. It is a professional project management role. You cannot not learn what you need to learn to succeed. Now, you think I've been forward with you? Great. You're a little offended at me right now? Great. I've singed your eyebrows with a little bit of fire. Great. You can stop listening to the podcast, or you can get a little bit pissed off at the situation and go be better. I'm asking you to go be better. You think somebody else on a different podcast that's going to love you up and tell you butterflies and kittens all the time is going to help you with your personal growth and home life? Hell no. Now, you need to listen to the friends that are going to tell you something. I was with Felipe Engineer the last, I think it was 2 days. Every time we went somewhere, he was like, hey, you could do this better. Hey, this better. Hey, this better. Is it exhausting sometimes? Yes. Is Felipe Engineer going to make me a better man? Yes. Have I grown exponentially in the last 2 days? Yes. Your friends are the people that tell you hard things. You have got to stop this security guard behavior. You need to become a superintendent. And here are the things. You need to switch your focuses to growth and contribution. Stop taking and start giving. And you need to learn your role. And for companies, we have to get this training and professional development to our people. And we have to fix our culture and not allow this kind of behavior. Because you probably, and I'll close out with this, you probably have a bunch of security guards in your company. They're not supers and foremen. And so you're like, Jason, help me with your supers and foremen. Well, you have security guards. So when I come, you are going to have a lot of your security guards quit the company. And you're going to have your future supers elevate and rise to the occasion. And for those people, that is why I'm in business. That is why I've committed all of my financial security to the development of you and your future. You are my why. And I am not being insincere when I say I love you, I'm here for you, and I am going to do everything in my power to elevate you and to take the elevation that you give me. And for those of you who want to be security guards, I still love you as human beings, but stop hurting people by doing security guard work in a superintendent role. On we go.
Please join us next time in elevating the entire construction experience for workers, leaders, and companies coast to coast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to share with your construction colleagues and help us spread the word by rating, subscribing, and leaving a review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time on the Elevate Construction Podcast.